Welcome back to this series of 5G orchestration conversations. Terry Sweeney here with Light Reading. And joining me now is Rhonda Holloway, Director of Network Automation Solutions Marketing for Fujitsu Network Communications. Rhonda, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Terry. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's start by getting your assessment of the current state of 5G orchestration here at the beginning of 2022.
Okay. Well, extremely healthy and entirely different for all of our customers.
Sure.
Orchestration needs and capabilities look completely different depending on whether an operator is developing a greenfield network or maintaining their brownfield. There's significant players for both, all of whom seem to be taking a different approach. Customers that have embraced the idea of open networks tend to have a more holistic approach to cross-domain orchestration and end-to-end services, and are thinking in terms of multi-vendor control and management. Others are focusing on domain orchestration. I would also say that orchestration strategy can depend very much on how much automation is already in place and whether or not there's a long-term plan for network densification.
5G orchestration, of course, is a massive multi-tier integration project. Talk to us about some of the tougher challenges that engineers, designers, operators, carriers are dealing with regard to 5G orchestration.
All right, well, number one, complex lifecycle management. DIYing your own automated service delivery management frameworks with intelligent workflows can be incredibly hard. In addition to deployment, an operator also has to take care of upgrades, failures, configuration changes, scaling, whatever you can imagine. For example, just starting or restarting just one component of a composite service will probably impact dependent components in the end-to-end service chain. So each has its own deployment requirements, failure modes, performance monitoring, and so on. You've got to completely understand the nuances of a large number of services throughout 5G lifecycle management to be efficient and effective. That's one. Another is simple resource allocation and utilization. Distributed infrastructure needs optimal resource utilization to avoid over-provisioned silos for component services. We wouldn't be talking about orchestration if we weren't also talking about network slicing. So as we've already discussed, deploying and operating end-to-end services is challenging enough. When you add dynamic network slices, each with their own security and service delivery requirements, you have to start asking questions like, how can we make sure one slice can't take over network resources that severely impact the performance of other slices? Or how can we make sure each slice can only access its own respective services, including metrics, logs, and other metadata? And then finally, I think everyone, or at least every one of our customers, is in some stage of cloud adoption. So accurately forecasting IT infrastructure needs definitely has to be on the list. Many organizations have services that run across different clouds and data centers. One example of this might be base workloads that run on-prem, supported by burst compute resources in the cloud. Another example is shared setup across multiple regions for fault tolerance. I kind of went on there. I think those are probably the top ones from our perspective.
Thanks. That's really helpful context. Given that there's so many moving parts, many of them automated from what you're describing, talk about what you have learned about 5G orchestration that maybe you didn't know a year ago.
Deploying applications that consist of several connected services. Even in the best of circumstances, maintaining up-to-date resource inventories and application topologies is tough. Guarding against potentially contradictory closed-loop operations. For example, a utilization trend threshold for service A triggers a quality of service adjustment to benefit service A at the expense of service B. Subsequently, a different utilization trend threshold for service B triggers a QoS adjustment to benefit service B at the expense of service A. Repeat until everyone is upset. And then I guess probably the last one I would say is heterogeneous environments with lots of connected third-party devices present a special challenge. And we have found that advanced service modeling can help solve that problem.
Okay, well, talk more about that. How is Fujitsu differentiating itself in this 5G orchestration matrix?
Okay, well, so Fujitsu differentiates on 5G orchestration by providing a cloud-native solution that's open and provides extensive support for standard models and APIs across multiple domains. So that might be 3GPP, ORAN, TMF, ETSI. We're big believers in open standards, following open standards, participating in open standards. We are pioneers in open standards ourselves, and we bring that expertise to our customers.
Very good. What are some of the real breakthroughs that you've seen, either with customers or partners in the last year where 5G orchestration is concerned?
Fujitsu has seen steady progress in a number of areas, especially related to ORAN. The biggest breakthrough probably has been in the area of multi-operator orchestration of services and slices that are enabled by standards. A public example of this is our TMF and ORAN plug-fast activity. That was an ORAN ONAP-based scenario in 5G multi-operator, multi-vendor environments. The use case was a city-scale disaster with widespread human impact and physical damage to mobile network assets. The POC included identifying available resources. It included designing high-priority network slices, decomposing incoming requests and using our optimization framework to perform optimal selection, and then ordering services and resources from the operator participants on an as-needed basis and criticality of the service required.
Rhonda, appreciate the context and insights into the massive integration effort that is 5G orchestration. Thanks for talking to us today.
Thank you.
We've been talking with Rhonda Holloway from Fujitsu Network Communications. This has been Terry Sweeney for Light Reading. Thanks for joining us for this conversation on 5G orchestration. We'll see you next time.